evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once again to the world of V-Gaming Junkie News. All the dross was swallowed into the realm of Twilight, so there's nothing but pure gaming-related meatiness. It's all about the electronic good stuff as we dive deep in all that's new in the various interactive virtual worlds. First up on the agenda, it would seem an Indiana Jones game is being published by Bethesda. Little is known about the game, aside of course it being an adventure game based on the iconic adventure and being developed by Machine Games. I'll be honest, I've got mixed feelings about this. Machine Games has proven to be good at cinematic drama pieces, but at the same time I feel they made Blazkowicz too much of a sad sack in the Wolfenstein games. The new Colossus especially was also dragged down with certain ideologies, and Young Blood was just obnoxious. If they're making an Indiana Jones game, I can only hope they make it more action-orientated in the spirit of Indiana Jones. The last thing I want is for him to start droning on about how hard it is and how much you should pity him. There's a time and place for drama. Hell, Dark Souls 3 is full of the morbid, and I love that game, but give us some upbeat action too. Don't turn action heroes into sad sacks, is all I'm saying, alright, Machine Games? And speaking of Disney and video games, it seems Lucasfilm Games is now being used as the brand name for Star Wars games going forward. Now, this doesn't mean they're going to start developing all their games in-house. In fact, they've affirmed an ongoing partnership with EA for better and much worse, but it's essentially a brand. They're also going to give other companies a right to the license, presumably based on the genre. Ubisoft, for instance, will be working on an open-world Star Wars game. Little is known about that project, but what we do know is that the creative director is Julian Girati, who worked on The Division 2. We also know that it will be story-driven and use Ubisoft's Snowdrop engine, but neither of those are very surprising. Hopefully this leads to more Jedi Fallen Order and less Battlefront 2 loot boxes. So The Sims 4 will be receiving a paranormal stuff pack for those who are interested. As the name suggests, all things supernatural and poltergeistorific will be headed to everyone's favorite and most expensive if you're looking to get all the extra content, Life Simulator. Based on the trailer, especially the song, it's really reminding me of the Ghostbusters, and as someone who's been rocking through Luigi's Mansion, I very much enjoy that kind of tone. Haven't actually played The Sims 4 though, and not for lack of ownership, because Origin had it free at one point, and you know I love taking advantage of free samples. Maybe it'll be interesting, and it's just a stuff pack, so it'll likely be $10. If that sounds worth it to you, keep an eye out for it on the 26th. So, good news for everyone in the PC the PC gamers out there. We good, YouTube? Overlord? Anyway, it seems PC games are on the rise in 2020. Or at least according to Valve. VR is likewise on the rise, although that's probably not too surprising given the most enticing VR game by far in terms of Half-Life Alyx released this year. In the previous years, Steam reports 120 million monthly active players, 62.6 million daily active players, and 24.8 million peak concurrent players. Also, 2.6 million new purchasers every month, 21.4% more games purchased to the previous year, and 50.7% more hours played to the previous year. As someone who's been PC gaming for a while now, just because PCs are flexible and can do things besides just play games, I'm happy to hear the PC's doing well. I'm a big believer in choices and open platforms, not in the company deciding what you do with your own hardware. And for the last news story, Bloodstained Ritual of the Night received a classic mode on the 14th. Based on the old Castlevania games, it seems to be more of a pure side-scroller with sub-weapons like the good old days. While it's still 2.5D, it seems Miriam moves around in more of a slow walk as well to give it more of that feel. It should be interesting. I'll definitely have to try it out at some point, since it is free for anyone who already owns the game. There's also a crossover add-on for Kingdom New Lands called the Kingdom 2 Crowns. Miriam has to find a crown to gain access to a new area called Deadlands. I did actually play a bit of Kingdom New Lands, and I found it pretty enjoyable. This could be very interesting, although it seems to be far more based on Kingdom New Lands gameplay-wise, so if you're more into Bloodstained, you might not be interested. Still, it's good to see Bloodstained going strong, given Castlevania's future isn't exactly looking too bright right now apart from Netflix. And as always, from Game Radar's page, it's time for this week's round of release dates. There's not a lot of games, but there are some at least. The 18th sees Everspace 2 released for PC. Hitman 3 is probably the biggest by far, and it releases for PlayStation and Xbox, both new and old, PC and Stadia on the 20th. Ride 4 releases for the two new systems on the 21st, and Gravity Heroes releases for the Big 4 on the 22nd. This week's epic freebie until next Thursday is, surprisingly enough, Star Wars Battlefront 2 Celebration Edition. Nope, not the classic one. This is the controversial EA Edition. Well, if it's gonna nickel and dime you like a freemium game, it may as well be free, right? I kid. I hear it got better since then because of EA being pressured to tone down the loot boxes, and hey, at least it's free to try if you've any interest. And as always, that rounds out this news week. I really hope you enjoyed and were well enough informed. And as always, I Let's Play every single day, 10 a.m. and 2 p.m, live stream Mondays and Fridays unless otherwise specified at 4:30 p.m, and these news programs are Sundays at 6 p.m. That's Eastern Standard Time, by the way, but you can always subscribe and storm ruler that bell icon if you don't want to have to worry about keeping track of time zones. A like is always appreciated for the algorithms and all that, but I just hope you genuinely liked it. That is it for now. Thank you so much for tuning in with me. Spread this video around like the profane flame that is seeking to consume us all, and I'll see you next time. Capitalize on life, peace out, have a good one, enjoy some Estes soup, and I'll see you next week.